Today, we're counting down the top 10 most dangerous prisons in the world, places where survival is the only law and hope is a distant memory. Maracaibo, a sprawling city in Venezuela, sits near the Caribbean Sea. It's a place of vibrant culture and bustling activity, but also a place where shadows linger, particularly in the history of its penal system. La Sabaneta prison, once located here, became a chilling symbol of chaos, corruption, and ultimate collapse of order within its walls. The very name evokes a sense of dread and despair. Originally designed to house 700 inmates, a number already stretching the limits of humane conditions, it swelled to hold nearly 4,000 inmates, a staggering figure that speaks to the systemic failures within Venezuela's justice system. The prison became a pressure cooker, a breeding ground for violence and despair. This extreme overcrowding turned it into a violent, self-governed city, a microcosm of society's darkest impulses where survival was a daily battle. The state's authority evaporated, replaced by a brutal internal hierarchy. Guards, overwhelmed and often outmatched, lost control. Their presence became merely symbolic. Power shifted to ruthless gang leaders, known as prains, who rose to fill the vacuum of authority. These prains controlled everything from the distribution of meager food rations to the supposed safety or lack thereof of the inmates under their protection. Inmates were forced to pay for even the most basic necessities, a place to sleep in the overcrowded cells, protection from violence at the hands of other inmates, and, tragically, even for the right to simply exist within that brutal environment. Every breath was a transaction. The simmering tensions within La Sabaneta occasionally erupted into open conflict. In 1994, a particularly brutal gang war escalated into a full-blown massacre, a horrifying illustration of the prison's descent into barbarity. The death toll was staggering. Over 100 prisoners died in a single day, victims of unchecked violence and systemic neglect. Disease and malnutrition were rampant, exacerbated by the squalid conditions and lack of basic sanitation. Violence was not an exception, but a daily reality, an intrinsic part of life within La Sabaneta's walls. Every corner held the potential for conflict and bloodshed. For most inmates, life inside La Sabaneta was not rehabilitation, but a slow, agonizing death sentence, a gradual erosion of their humanity. The prison was finally closed in 2013 after yet another devastating riot, a decision long overdue. However, its legacy of brutality, corruption, and lawlessness continues to haunt Venezuela's prison system, a stark reminder of the deep-seated problems that plague the nation's penal institutions. La Sabaneta stands as a grim warning of what happens when order collapses, when institutions fail, and when human rights are disregarded. It remains a terrifying monument to human suffering behind bars, a testament to the depths of despair that can exist within the confines of a broken system. São Paulo's Carandiru Penitentiary, a colossal structure, a grim monument to a failing system. It was a city of over 8,000 inmates, a teeming mass of humanity confined within concrete walls. This was more than twice its intended capacity, a pressure cooker environment where tension simmered constantly. Within those walls, disease, especially HIV, was rampant, a silent killer stalking the corridors. Basic sanitation was a luxury, and medical care was woefully inadequate, and gangs ruled with impunity, carving out territories and enforcing their own brutal brand of justice. The authorities seemed powerless, or perhaps unwilling, to intervene. In 1992, a seemingly trivial football dispute, a spark in a powder keg, ignited a riot. Pent-up frustrations and simmering resentments exploded into violence. The state's response was not measured, not an attempt to de-escalate, but a massacre. A brutal and disproportionate use of force that shocked the world. Military police stormed the prison, unleashing a torrent of violence upon the inmates. They systematically killed 111 inmates, leaving a trail of blood and devastation in their wake. Many were unarmed and surrendering, begging for mercy that would never come. The brutality was senseless, the scale of the violence incomprehensible. Incredibly, no officers died during the operation, highlighting the one-sided nature of the conflict. The event became a global symbol of state brutality, a stain on Brazil's reputation that would not easily wash away. The massacre exposed the dark side of Brazil's justice system, revealing a culture of impunity and a disregard for human life. The outcry that followed led to Carandiru's closure and eventual demolition in 2002, an attempt to erase the physical reminder of the tragedy. Today, a park stands in its place, a green space offering a stark contrast to the horrors that once unfolded there. But the memory of the massacre lingers, a constant reminder of the lives lost and the injustice that prevailed. Carandiru's story is a stark reminder, a cautionary tale etched in blood and concrete. It serves as a chilling example of what unchecked violence and neglect can create, a breeding ground for despair and brutality. Its legacy is told in books, films, and songs, each a testament to the human cost of institutional failure. These stories are vital, ensuring the world never forgets the lessons learned from Carandiru. The ghosts of Carandiru remain, haunting Brazil's history, a constant presence in the national consciousness. It stands as a testament to the consequences of overcrowding, a stark warning about the dangers of neglecting the incarcerated, and the tragic results of lost control, a reminder that justice must be tempered with humanity. In the vast, unforgiving expanse where Russia meets Kazakhstan, a place of stark beauty and brutal isolation, lies a prison unlike any other. Here, amidst the endless steppes, sits Black Dolphin Prison, a name that whispers of dread and finality. The ominous statue of a black dolphin stands guard, a grim welcome to those who enter its gates, a symbol of the despair contained within. This is no ordinary correctional facility. It's home to the nation's most dangerous criminals, men and women who have committed unspeakable acts. Within its walls reside serial killers, their names etched in infamy, their crimes a chilling testament to the darkness that can dwell within the human heart. Cannibals, their deeds so grotesque they defy comprehension, are locked away here, a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity. And terrorists, individuals consumed by ideologies of hate and destruction, find their final confinement within Black Dolphin's impenetrable embrace. From the moment they arrive, inmates are blindfolded, disoriented, and stripped of their senses. They are forced to walk bent at the waist, heads bowed, a posture of submission and control, ensuring they never see the faces of their captors or the layout of their prison. Every movement, every breath, is meticulously monitored and kept under relentless surveillance, a constant reminder that they are never truly alone. The cells themselves are cages within cages, a further layer of security designed to isolate and dehumanize. Confined to these cramped spaces, prisoners spend 23 hours a day standing or pacing, their bodies aching, their minds slowly unraveling. They are forbidden to sit or lie down during these long hours, a deprivation designed to break their will. Guards check every 15 minutes, their presence a constant intrusion, a reminder of the unyielding authority that governs their existence. Even the simplest movement requires a full security team, a show of force that underscores the danger these inmates represent. The regime is meticulously designed to break the mind and spirit, to crush any remaining vestige of humanity. The goal is not just to contain the body, but to obliterate the soul, leaving behind only a hollow shell. Prisoners are referred to only by their crimes, their names replaced by the horrific acts they committed. They are stripped of their identity and hope, reduced to mere shadows of their former selves. No one has ever escaped its walls, a testament to its impenetrable security and the despair that permeates its very foundations. Black Dolphin is more than just a prison. It's a fortress of psychological warfare, a place where the mind is the ultimate battleground. Here, the punishment is as much mental as physical, a constant assault on the senses and the psyche. It's a place where even the guards remain emotionally detached, shielded from the horrors they witness daily, a necessary defense against the darkness that threatens to consume them all. The prison's reputation is built on total control and utter isolation, a system designed to break even the most hardened criminals. For those inside, it's a life sentence in a living tomb, a slow descent into madness and despair. Black Dolphin is the end of the line in Russian justice, a place where hope dies and only the echoes of past sins remain. In Bangkok, Bang Kwang Central Prison, nicknamed the Bangkok Hilton, is anything but luxurious. Overcrowded cells, brutal routines, and a harsh social hierarchy define daily life. Foreign inmates face isolation and a system stacked against them. Malnutrition and violence are constant threats, and leg irons were once standard for new arrivals. For many, Bang Kwang is a place where hope fades and sentences feel endless. In Colorado's high desert, ADX Florence is America's only federal supermax, a fortress of isolation. Inmates spend 23 hours a day alone in concrete cells, with minimal human contact and a single window showing only the sky. The prison houses the nation's most notorious criminals, from the Unabomber to El Chapo. The goal isn't rehabilitation, it's total control through sensory deprivation. Critics call it psychological torture. For the Bureau of Prisons, it's the ultimate solution for the most dangerous. Mental health deteriorates rapidly in this environment. ADX Florence is a concrete tomb where inmates are locked away and forgotten. It's the final stop for those deemed too dangerous for anywhere else. Diyarbakir Prison in Turkey is infamous for its era of state-sponsored torture, especially after the 1980 military coup. Political prisoners, many Kurdish, endured beatings, electrocution, and psychological torment. The goal was to break spirits and erase identities. Even after martial law, overcrowding and abuse persisted, drawing international condemnation. Plans exist to turn Diyarbakir into a museum, but its legacy of suffering endures. It remains a chilling symbol of how prisons can become instruments of terror. On the shores of San Francisco Bay, San Quentin is California's oldest and most notorious prison. Its history is marked by riots, gang violence, and the nation's largest death row. The prison's design and overcrowding make violence a constant threat. Death row inmates live in limbo, under immense psychological strain. Yet, San Quentin is also known for innovative rehabilitation programs, offering rare hope amid harsh reality. The shadow of danger never fully recedes. San Quentin remains a volatile mix of punishment and reform. Alcatraz, the Rock, was America's first supermax, built for the most troublesome inmates. Surrounded by icy waters, escape seemed impossible. Hopelessness was the real punishment. Silence, strict routines, and solitary confinement broke even the toughest spirits. 36 men tried to escape. The fate of Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers remains a mystery. Alcatraz housed legends like Al Capone and the Birdman of Alcatraz. Closed in 1963, it's now a tourist site, but its chilling legacy endures. The echoes of its past haunt every cell block. Alcatraz remains a symbol of inescapable confinement. Patak Island Prison, Russia's Alcatraz, sits isolated on a frozen lake. Once a monastery, it's now a fortress of psychological punishment. Inmates are cut off from the world, confined to tiny cells for 22-23 hours a day. Visits are rare and always through glass. Hope is systematically crushed. The monotony and isolation lead to mental breakdowns and despair. There's no rehabilitation, only endless punishment. Patak is a tomb for the living, where inmates slowly fade from memory. It's a stark testament to the soul-destroying power of isolation. Gitarama Central Prison in Rwanda became a humanitarian disaster after the 1994 genocide. Built for 400, it held over 7,000. Prisoners stood packed together, unable to lie down. Disease, starvation, and filth were everywhere. Medical care was non-existent. Gangrene and cholera killed dozens daily, and reports of cannibalism emerged as inmates fought to survive. Gitarama was a living nightmare, a breakdown of all humanity. International aid has improved conditions, but its legacy remains a warning. It's the ultimate example of what happens when a prison system collapses. Gitarama stands as the most dangerous and horrifying prison in history. From frozen Siberia to sweltering Africa, these prisons reveal the darkest extremes of human confinement. They force us to question the line between justice and cruelty, and what happens when hope is locked away. Which of these prisons do you find most terrifying? Let us know in the comments. If you want more deep dives like this, subscribe and stay curious.